Okay, we got that. Oh. Okay, I was trying to find where it said mute participants on entry. Okay, I found it. We're good to go. Okay, so hi guys. Thanks for hopping on our Monday meeting. Okay, so tonight we're gonna do it a little different. We're gonna have one of my good friends, Sarah, on with us. So I'm super excited because I absolutely love her story. I love her story because it's so different from mine. Sarah loved her job or her career, and she didn't initially join to, get away from that. So I'm going to have her take over and tell her story to start off, and then we'll go from there. So I'll let you just get at it, Sarah.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having me, you guys. My name is Sarah O'Connell. Like Lisa said, we met through this business. I'm so grateful for that. If you've just started, you are going to meet probably some of the best people ever. So be open to going to places where you don't know anybody, because they will be probably some of the best people that push you to do your absolute best. So anyways, you guys, I am an ambassador of Diamond now, but I started over 5 years ago. So I'm almost coming up on 5.5 years. Like Lisa said, I was not looking for this to replace my career. I absolutely loved what I was doing. I was a charge nurse, working night shift on labor and delivery. I had moved up pretty quick in my job. I was where I wanted to be. And I feel like there were two kind of factors that really opened my eyes to give something that I didn't know a whole lot about a chance. So one of them being that I remember going in for a evaluation, and they told me, they were like, hey, so you're at the top of the totem pole. Literally, like from here on out, you really don't get raises. If there's extra money at the end of the fiscal year, you get a bonus. And I was like, what? Like I think I almost dropped dead in this evaluation. And I'm pretty sure they could what my face said. So a little bit, I would say, discouraging. The other thing is I had just had a kiddo and had been home for 3 months. And I got to feel what it was like to have a full-time family. And because at that time, my husband was in a job transition, so he was home for those 3 months with us. So in a time where everyone's like, are you so tired? Are you so stressed out? Like, are you adjusting well? I was living like on cloud 9. And I got to have dinners with my families. I got to do what I wanted to do. I didn't feel like I was running out of time at the end of the day, and I had a brand new baby. So when I saw my friend posting about this, I'm like, what in the heck is she posting about? So I asked her about it, and I had looked at her website, and as a nurse, you guys, I went in, and I'm totally agreeing. So if you've ever talked about personalities, that's me. So I went and looked at all these ingredients, and I started seeing products that I wanted to use myself. So I remember asking about it. You guys, it was unlike anything I would have normally ever done. I had not tried a single product. I'm so distracted. I hear stuff. I don't even know where it is. Hold on, let me see. I just hear like a TV. You got it. Okay, sorry. You guys, I will literally try to start listening to whatever is on the TV, and I can't even see it. Okay, so anyways, I started this business. Like I said, I had not tried any product. So if you are one of those people, I am just here to tell you that is not going to stop you in any way. And so when I started, you guys, I had a goal of literally breaking even, because I was super skeptical. I was nervous. I was nervous about the auto ship. I was nervous that I wasn't going to necessarily make money. Yes, I kind of thought maybe like, oh, what are people going to think? But honestly, I really didn't care. I've never really cared about stuff like that. So, but the other thing is, I was just like, I am not a salesperson. That is not me. However, I talk to my friends all the time about things that we love. So I knew that the products were good. I had looked into them for over 2 weeks, I want to say. And then I let Danielle wrap me. And as I had the wraps on, she's like, what do you want your website name to be? And this is probably going to be one of my stories, that when I would say something that I was worried about, you guys, Danielle just pretty much flat out was like, that's not even going to be a concern. So, I was worried, am I going to actually make money? I cannot lose money. I was worried, are people going to love these products? When they do the loyal customer thing, I need to know that my friends are not getting like stuck into something that they cannot stop after the 3 months, right? So I had done proactive and I was like so nervous about this auto ship for them. And she would just say like, no, yes, you are going to make money. These are your steps that you follow. No, you want the auto ship on. And this is why, because you make Wrap Cash. And so she had an answer to everything. And not because she knew necessarily what she was telling me, but she was just going off of the little bit that she had learned in the 2 weeks prior of signing up to this business. So if you are new, I promise you can start growing your team and speak life into people, because if you believe in them, it's crazy how far they can take that. So I got going, you guys, right off the bat. We did not have all the crazy bonuses that are available now, but we did have a $10,000 bonus. So my goal was to break even. I knew what to, I was going to sell my wraps. And the next thing, you guys, I did my training. And then after that, the next day, I started posting. And I'm going to say, you guys, my posts were so simple. Like they did not try to explain everything about the product or what it did or anything like that. Like they were so short and to the point. I used before and after pictures and I was excited. Like those were the 2 things that I used. From there, I didn't know enough to post every little detail about every single product in my posts. But the thing is that people were excited and they were asking questions because they couldn't get all their answers just from my posts. So, and from there, I was learning it. You guys, I was just using the wording from our product description. I wasn't even asking Danielle because Danielle's just there to party. Like she is completely different personality than I am. And so that's exactly how I learned. I learned by jumping in. I didn't necessarily care what people were going to think or what I was doing. Yes, I had people ask me if somebody was spamming my page, and I was like, no, I'm doing this business. I'm so excited. My goal is just to make an extra $500 so that if we are like low census at the hospital, that I have the option to say, yes, I want to be that mom that stays home tonight. From there, it was just, I don't have a rags to riches story, but it was one of those things like if I was going to choose to stay home, I had guilt because I had student loans that we were paying on. I had, bills. We had, if we wanted to still go see our family from afar, like we are right now, I knew that we needed that money from my shift and I didn't necessarily want to use my PTO. So it was just the thought of in a year, if I can get $500 a month, like this is going to be so amazing. So I am probably very similar to Lisa in the fact that you guys, I was probably kind of a little pill to sign up, but I'm going to give you some hope. You're going to have those people and they might do really well. So I told Danielle, I'm not partying. I'm not partying. Just so you know, I'm not a shy person, but I did not want to party. But I did wrap appointments like it was my job. And that was not scary to me. It was comfortable to me. I loved the one-on-one time. Not only was I earning Wrap Cash like crazy, you guys, and I was letting the wrap do the talking for itself, but as soon as I wrapped somebody, I was signing a loyal customer or a distributor within 10 minutes of them being at my house. And all I used was the wrap and I let them look at the product catalog. That was it. And so within doing that, I hit Ruby, I think 6 weeks in to my business. And I remember Danielle saying like, hey, you're on track to get this $10,000 bonus, right? The diamond bonus. And I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like that, I don't care about that, and I was just going with my $500 extra a month. And so when I hit that in my first month with Wrap Cash, you guys, I had to change my goals a little bit. I was like, okay, clearly don't have to worry about if I'm going to make money in this business. Now I need to know, sorry, it is so cold down here. My nose is running. But now I don't know why. I'm like, oh my gosh. But now I was like, no, I need to make a legit goal that I can go for and see what that can do. So in 3 months, I did go diamond. And it's so funny because I didn't start for that $10,000 bonus. I honestly was like, oh, that's great that they offer bonuses. Not something that I was going to get at my job as a nurse ever, just ever. But I also wasn't, again, being a skeptic joining, I wasn't sure, are these bonuses here for us to get? Or are they just kind of there to look pretty, And so when I was that close and on track for that, I just thought to myself, you know what? I've already had 12 people join me or 14 people or whatever it was for Emerald. And I'm like, if I show them that you can get this bonus, I'm going to have over 20 some people running for a $10,000 bonus. I have to push for this. And so I did. I got the bonus. The next month I went double diamond, and I remember I was set for triple. And then from there, I had somebody that had dropped off for whatever reason, we don't know. They just went to like the witness protection program. It just happens. And so I was double diamond probably for almost a year. But I remember coming in, we were January, we have our huge conference. And you guys, again, skeptical, like I was having fun. I kept thinking, oh, this is so good while it lasts. Longevity was something I really struggled with understanding in this business, or even understanding like, hey, this can be a career. I had no clue. And like Lisa said, I wasn't there to replace my career. So I was working full time, and my little guy, my husband was working full time. We were just busy. And I remember going to conference, and it was there that I got to see our corporate team and see them speak, and they're in front of people. And I'm like, they're going nowhere. Like, I either set goals for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years into this business and just like blow every expectation I had out of the water and bring as many people with me as I can, or I can just like stay where I'm at. And so in a time where I felt like my business was stagnant, you guys, it was crazy because I had an aha moment around Christmas, and I'm like, this business that I felt was stagnant was bringing me in like over $4,000 on top of my nursing career. And it was at Christmas, that first Christmas, that I was like, I can literally buy the gifts that I want to buy for people. And I love buying gifts. Like I love it. That's my thing. And so that was kind of an aha moment for me in my business. And I was like, here's the deal. You can either stay where you're at. You can get butthurt because somebody quit on your team and that you're sad about, because yes, I'm sad when people quit on themselves. Or you can move on and you can show more people that there is a different way. And so you guys, I kind of pulled my big girl panties up, and I just like went balls to the walls. And from there, I was 2 feet in, never questioned anything. And I just thought to myself, like, if they're going to be here 15 years from now, so am I. So I might as well just get to work. And I went triple diamond. Gosh, what was that? Yeah, so I had been double diamond for over a year. I went triple diamond in October. And you guys, they didn't have a bonus, but as soon as I went triple diamond, the next month they offered bonuses. So I'm here to tell you it is okay. We didn't have double diamond bonus either. And then literally, I want to say 5 months after that, I went presidential. And then a year from that, I went ambassador, which was just crazy to think. And all that time, you guys, I was working full time. Like at the time, I kept kind of evaluating. I remember people at the hospital are like, what are you freaking still doing here? Right? Because you get your butts kicked. If anybody works at a hospital, like, you get your bum kicked. You don't get breaks. Like, you don't do any of those things. And at the time, you guys, I was still balancing it, and I felt good about it. So I just kept doing it. And I just kept thinking to myself, well, if I can, why wouldn't I do what I'm doing? And on the same note of that is through all the way up to double diamond to triple diamond, it still felt like very part-time work to me. And that doesn't mean that I didn't work my business every single day, but I wasn't spending hours and hours on my business. Like, I sat down, and I always say this, and I look at this now because I obviously get to do this full time now. But I sat down, you guys, and I did what I needed to do. And then I had to unplug, because that's what my life was. Like, I had to move on to the next thing, because that's what my day allowed for me to do. And I was going to work, or I was doing something else. And you guys, I still had no trouble building it to that. But the thing is I also realized in the first, 3 months of going and hitting that actual bonus is I didn't skip a day. And honestly, not because I was like this self-disciplined person to begin with. It was just more so like, I didn't want to skip a day without working my business. Like, I was excited. I loved responding to messages. I loved that when I posted, I was going to have people inboxing me, or randomly hearing from people that I hadn't talked to in a long time. But I also looked back and I would evaluate, when I hit a goal maybe that I wasn't expecting, I always said, like, what did you do to do that? Like, what did you do? You want to realize that and then continue to do that. And so it was like I said, it was very part-time work, but I did do it day in and day out consistently. And so I think that's really what got me there. But like I said, being able to do the two things at once, we were able to fast track a lot of our goals way faster than if I would have been like, oh, I'm going to check out and do this or that. And so if you are working a job and you think that that's going against you, or you look at somebody else and you're like, well, they're doing so well because, they weren't working a full-time job, or they're doing this full-time now. Like, I'm here to tell you, that job is going to build you a larger network. So like it is totally something that is going to help you with this business. So honestly, instead of seeing it as like a crutch, I want you to see it as like a trampoline that is going to help you propel this business way faster than if you didn't have it. So that is kind of my story. We are a full-time family, and we get to do this from wherever we want, just like tonight, like in Virginia, while we're visiting some family. It allowed me to pay off my school loans in 3 months when I decided to go for it, instead of 30 years like they try to tell you to plan. We paid cash for our wedding. We were able to, have a down payment on a house that we wanted. And we've just been able to help a lot more people, which is what, obviously as a nurse, that's something that I just absolutely love to do. So that is kind of our story.
I love that you said that, because I think the same way. So sometimes like when people are like, oh, like, I wish I didn't have a job. I'm like, yes. Like, I wish, I mean, I don't wish, but I wish I had that like constant network of people probably complaining that they hate being there on a daily basis. It's like, those are the people that you need to reach out to. Like, I wish I had like, such a huge network when I first started. So I had to create my network from, I think I had 98 Facebook friends when I initially joined. So
I wish I would have known how much I had. But here's the deal: is I did not have an Instagram at all, and totally because of It Works had built that up.
Yeah,
so
my Instagram had like 2 pictures. Okay, so
I was like, what's Instagram?
I know, I was so not like into Instagram. Okay, so when you initially joined, I know that you were super skeptic. I was super skeptic. I'm not green like you, but I was more skeptical, not about the actual products working, because I had tried Wrapped and I loved my results, but I was more scared of being able to make that $99 back, because I used our grocery money, which took, now it scares me. Like, that's freaking brave. Like, that's terrifying. So I was scared of making that money back. What were some of your biggest fears? I guess you cover that a little bit, but like of when you first joined, like when you were brand new out the gate.
Yeah. You know what? I think my biggest fears, like I remember actually saying this to Danielle. Well, first of all, parties was like, I hate public speaking. And Lisa will tell you now I can get on a stage. And so this business will just push you to do things that you have never in a million years thought you would do. And I'm so grateful for that. Honestly, I'm so grateful. But like, I did not want to do parties. I was so scared of that. And honestly, you guys, where we live, our families are not, for me to go that while Kevin was working a full-time job. Like, I knew I either had to have a sitter or do something like that. And so just the fact that Danielle wasn't going to push me to necessarily do something that I didn't want to was so big. And honestly, you guys, I take that every single day when I'm talking to potentials. So if they're like, hey, I don't want to do social media, I'm like, honestly, you don't have to. But if you're not going to use social media, just know you have to be talking to people in some way. So whether that's in person or whether that is through messaging or doing parties, like, you have to pick your way. And so, but the thing that helped me with is I always go back to those fears I had. So that when I'm talking to them, that's something I always talk about. So I was scared about losing money. So I was scared of the auto ship. However, once it was explained to me, I have always run it. And now when I look back, it's very hard for me to explain to somebody how to run a successful business that they can get $1 bajillion in Wrap Cash like I have done myself. You're a big Wrap Cash girl too, Lisa. And I don't know how to tell somebody to do that without the auto ship. So the thing is yes, I had the fear of this auto ship and this monthly thing coming out. It just bugged me. I don't know why it bugged me, but I trusted the process. And honestly, I don't know how people can do it without it. So that was one.
You had said at our last meeting, you were like, okay, well, do you want to make a lot of money? I don't remember how you said it, like in a short period of time, or do you want to wait 3 months? Or what? I don't remember how you said it, but I was like, that's so
auto ship. I just tell people, I'm like, here's the deal. The auto ship scared me too. However, it scared me more to wait 6 weeks or whatever, 7 weeks to get my first check than thinking I could get my first profit in 6 days. Like, you have to ask yourself that. And that is what I ask every single new person. And honestly, you guys, everybody says, no, I want to make money in 6 days. I mean, yeah, if you have a heartbeat, that's what your answer should be. So the auto ship really did kind of make me nervous. I will tell you that, but it wasn't enough to make me back out. You guys, I thought to myself, like, oh, what are people going to think? But honestly, I didn't care. Like I knew I was doing something positive with this. And if I was going to do it, I was going to have fun. So I'm like, I want to bring people that I care about. So that didn't really stop me. And I also knew like, I either go in and I go balls to the walls, and those people, they're going to either know like, I'm not going to be able to kick her off her horse. Like she's on this horse and loving life, and what I say isn't going to matter. And honestly, I will tell you, the less that you care, the less that they will share their opinion. So if you're one of those people, look at this, my babies are up. If you're one of those people that are like worried about that, I'm just here to tell you, like, if you act timid, I feel like people like, they look for that. I just was like confident in what I was going to do. I'm also one of those people like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it hard. So I just like went right in, and as the more I started posting and the more I saw people respond or message me, you guys, the more confidence I had to keep sharing. So like when you have some of those fears, you kind of just have to like know it and nip it in the butt and just do it. And the more you do it, all of a sudden it's like not there. The other thing that I feared was, I was like, am I going to run out of people? Like I hated when Danielle was like, yeah, their auto ship runs for 3 months. And I'm like, well, then what? I'm doing something, you need to go lay down. And so I just was like, well, am I going to run out of people? Like, how do you do this 5 years from now? Like, I just kept thinking in my head, like my network, you never feel like you have this super large network. And so, but little do you know that it could be like one encounter, and that could be one of your distributors. Like it could be a hi, blah, 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 or you know, are dropping kids off and you somehow exchange numbers or whatever it is. And that all of a sudden becomes like your presidential diamond to your ambassador. So that was something I feared. I was like, I think I'm going to run out of people. And I could not wrap my head around like how I continue to do this for years and years and years. But then again, like, all the fears that I had, it like slowly just dissolved, and I'm like, these just aren't legitimate fears. So I look back and I think to myself like, oh my gosh, if I would have listened to those instead of just trusting my gut and jumping on something, like where would I be, you know? But I would say that those were probably my biggest fears when I started.
It's funny because I had that same fear. I remember signing like my second distributor. I'm like, what if this is the last distributor I ever sign ever? Like, and I told some of my girls that when they're like, I'm not going to find anyone. I'm like, I have felt that way so many times. Like, you know, as a ruby, as a diamond, I'm like, what if I just signed the last distributor or the last loyal customer I ever signed ever? And I want to say my last 15 loyal customers haven't even been in the state of Arizona. Like I have no idea who they are. It was just networking, whether it was in a mom's group or whether it was meeting someone at my kid's school. Like you find people when the life that you're living means so much to you, you'll do whatever it takes. You'll go out of your way to find new people. And that's pretty much all it comes down to. Okay. So next thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
In the beginning, when you first joined, I feel like we run our business similar. Like I make sure to always have work time, but then I have family time. Like the reason why I do this is for the freedom of being able to spend the day with my kids, spend time with my husband. So I make sure that I always have like, this time is no work time. It's family time. My phone's, put away. And I feel I would say all the way up to Double Diamond, it was very part-time work. My efforts were 100%, but it was part-time hours. So like, up to Double Diamond, what did a typical work day look for you? I know that you worked full time, so our days were different, but what did like a typical look like?
So honestly, when I look back at it, like I always posted like one time a day. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, like, I don't remember how many friends I had, but when I actually went and looked back at my Facebook, like I used to post once, maybe a week. So when I said yes to this business, like I used to post once a week on Facebook. Okay. So if you weren't like huge into social media, I know social media is so different compared to when I started. Like 5 years ago, I'm like, there's people that don't even do business and they're on their way more, but I did post once a day on Facebook. Was it always a product? No. A lot of it, you guys, we used to share, I have to think about this, but we used to share the income chart like it was our job. And I look back and I wonder, like, why don't I still do that? Like that thing can, again, like that can do a lot of talking than even what you would even need to say. So I would, Yeah, they can just see it and they're thinking like, oh my gosh. Or they look at Lisa and they're like, wait a minute, this is where she's at. Like, holy crap, that's what she's making. Like, Lisa doesn't even need to say it. They can just put 2 and 2 together. But I did, for sure, I posted once a day. So I was committed to doing that. The rest, it was wrapping people. I did wrap appointments all the time. Like I said that I finally had to tell my neighbor, I was like, hey, I just want you to know I am not like a drug cartel person, but I have people over here that are going to be wrapping. And you guys, I want to tell you, my house was not clean. I usually had like supper on the stove. Like my kid was running around in diapers sometimes. I feel like people appreciated that so much. Sometimes I was in my scrubs because I was literally going to be heading into work in an hour and they would stop by my house. I would do that. So my first to Double Diamond wrap appointments got me to Double Diamond. Every time I wrap somebody, like I said, I mean, honestly, probably even more than 9 out of 10 times they signed as a loyal customer or a distributor. I posted on Facebook and then I messaged. Like if somebody came to my mind, you guys, I didn't even think about it. I didn't think, oh, should I wait? Should I not message them? Should I whatever? I just messaged them. I messaged what was on my mind. I didn't message them like a stencil message. I just said, hey, if it was Lisa, I was like, hey, Lisa, I started this business whatever a couple weeks ago and this is why I started and I would love to work alongside you if you are interested in making some extra money and having a fun time doing it. Like that is all I would say. And then I would wait for those people, to whatever, message me back. And you guys, I think the less I thought about it, just the easier it was. So and then from there, I was just responding to messages from people that had seen some of my posts. And again, most of the people that would message me weren't even people that liked my post or would even comment on my post. And the other thing that I really figured out quickly was to not answer, like if somebody asked me questions under my post, not to answer on there, but just to say, hey, I'm going to message you. So that way, if anybody else saw it, they could be like, I wasn't having their answer right there. Like they had to interact with me to get more info. So I still, to this day, because I do know a lot about the business and a lot about the products after being in it for 5 years and attending a lot of events, as many as I can get plugged into, I go to. But I have to tell myself, like, share everything you know in one post. Like, stop. So they have to interact with you at some point to get more info. So, like, I think about that every single day when I am posting or sharing anything about this. But that is literally where it came to. So I did wrap appointments. I did calls. You guys, I'm still really big on calls. That's just me. And I always say, this is my rule of thumb, even in the beginning, I always say, however you would normally interact with that person, that is how your conversation should be even with at work. So if it was somebody that I text or voiced all the time or called or whatever it was, that's how I still approach them. If it was somebody that maybe we weren't really close and I don't even have their number, then I would Facebook message them. But I always go the extra mile because I think it means more and people know that. Like you're truly asking them or bringing something to their attention because you care, not because you need them. So my days just seem simple. The only other thing I was going to say, Lisa, is that you guys, I didn't sit down and work for an hour either. Like I would sit down, I would message people, I would do my post, I would follow up and answer some questions and help walk people through. And it probably took me a half hour. And then from there, the rest of the day was kind of like as people came and as I set up appointments, like the rest was like action and kind of on the go stuff. And I still kind of make myself do that. I don't sit down for a super long time because I feel like I also allow myself to get sidetracked if I do that. So I kind of give myself like little spurts in the day to sit down and do what I need to do. But like you said, also have family time, allow myself to be unplugged. Like I don't always have this at my hip. And I want to tell you that, you know what, today I didn't have it by there and I got to there and I had like 10 messages. 2 of them were people wanting the cleanse thing. And guess what? They didn't go sign with somebody else because I didn't answer in 5 seconds. And a lot of them were like, hey, I'm so sorry. Just get back to me. I see that you're at the pool with your kids. And you know what, you guys, I'm 100% okay with that because if they join my team, I want them to know that they can do the exact same thing. So
I'm all kind of urgency for sure. But at the end of the day, if you have a job, like it's okay. You can check on your lunch break, you can check when you get out, like everything will be fine.
Yeah, and then I had to. I mean, I did work nights, so most people weren't awake during the nighttime, but I also slept during the day, well, tried to, when most people were actually up. So the thing is I couldn't answer right away every single time. And I was okay with that. You know, people knew I was going to get back to them, but I also want people to know, like, if you have a crazy work schedule, just like I do, like, you can do this business. Like, you came to me, you waited for an answer. If somebody's going to sign with you, like, they're going to wait to sign with you. They're not going to go hopping around and go find somebody else really quick. So.
Next question. Okay, so a lot of this business, you know, you've been doing this for 5 years.
Yes.
I feel like it's everything that you manifest in yourself. So like, we don't have a boss that's constantly telling us, okay, Sarah, you have to do this, this, and this. You have to do this, this, and this. It's literally you. You have to make sure that you do it, you know, because you want this. There's no one telling you, if you don't do this, you'll get fired, which is right. An amazing thing. But for those who are used to, I feel like, you know, the 9 to 5, like a boss telling them like what they have to do. And now they come into this and they're like, okay, what? Like, what do I do? What were some of the struggles that you faced in the beginning?
In the beginning.
No, yeah. That would make like most people want to quit. So my thing was, if I would have quit the very first time it entered my mind, I would have quit before my business could even came to my door. You know, I would have quit way before I sold my first wrap, way before I went executive, way before I went triple diamond.
Right. You know, for myself, I have to think now. Okay, so first of all, I did try to do a party. Once I was like set for executive, I'm like, why wouldn't I try to do a party? So you guys, I tried to do a party twice. That is not what my network wanted. Like, and I had to be okay with that. So like, yes, I was sweating and I was kind of like, oh, that's really good that they didn't want to come at all. Not even a single person. But then I also was kind of like, oh my gosh, well, my sponsor's out there and she's having parties in Minnesota and she's having all these people show up, but that's not what is happening here. You know, so again, like I could have reacted to that, but instead I was just like, you know what, that's not what they want. And honestly, that's not what I really wanted anyways. So I just like, you have to be willing to like recreate your mold or like what you think is going to be like the perfect thing, or you may have in your mind like, oh, I'm going to hit this goal in like whatever in a certain amount of time and maybe you fall short. Like you have to be okay thinking like, okay, there's a reason that happened. Like I just have to keep going. Like the plan might be different. And truthfully, I feel like we ran so fast. We were like ignorance on fire. And when I say that, I am not kidding you guys. We did not know. I mean, we knew to read things and that was it. Like we did not have Zooms. We did not have like lives. We did not have people posting all these tips on team pages. Like we did not have any of that. We were just doing what we knew to do. And I would say my first one was like when I had a diamond, like literally just fall off the face of the earth. So I was like ready for triple. We were in that promoting. It was momentum. That's what it was. It was hands down momentum because we took off running. And then just even kind of feeling like I was stagnant, right? Because it took me a little bit over a year to go from double diamond to triple. Like Lisa said, if I would have gotten in my head and thought, you know, that was my time, that was like my shining moment, I'm done, you know, I would not have seen or stayed around from when I saw my check jump 19 grand in 1 month, which is just crazy because I didn't even think I could make $500 a month in this business. So I feel like that knowing that, like I could have easily been like, my friends don't want it, you know, or I did have some close friends that had an opinion or they were in marketing or whatever it was. And they thought what we were doing was stupid, like those types of things. But, you know, honestly, like it was weird because I'm like, I don't really care that she thinks it's stupid. Like, why does she think it's stupid that I want to spend more time with my kid at home or be able to be a part-time nurse? Like, I think that's stupid that my friend doesn't want that for me, you know? So,
for your family, yeah.
Sure. You know, so some of those struggles, I guess, or, you know, another thing was we did grow fast, you guys. And I think for me, another thing was like, how do I step out and be this leader? Like I was not expecting to have a team of thousands of people, you know, so that was always something. And I finally just thought, you know what, if it comes to me and I think like, oh, this is really helpful to share or something that I struggled with, or I thought, I just finally was like, you just have to do it. Like, you don't know if you're enough if you never offer it. And so I had to learn that. I had to really learn that. Otherwise, sometimes like you can almost feel so overwhelmed that you feel a little bit paralyzed. So the thing that I think my biggest things were, I had to really realize right away, like, yes, you have to find a balance, and what may seem like balance one day is not going to be what's going to balance you the next day. And you have to be okay with that. So if you have kids, I guess that's really, I mean, you figure that out with this business or without it. And then the next thing I just had to feel is, if you can lay your head down at the end of the day and you're like, I am doing my best, you have to know that your best is okay. And really what it is it's just going to take consistency of doing your best day in and day out. And that's probably like one of my biggest things. And knowing that when you see, success coming from another person, they really don't have anything that you don't have, other than they probably talk to more people, or they might be, truly committing to doing something for their business every single day. As where maybe, you might allow yourself to allow some excuses to set in. And I honestly, like I said before, you guys, I was wanting something more, so I didn't want an excuse to stay where I was at all. Like, I was like, I want for this. Like, if this is my avenue, I'm going to like truck it and I'm going to go. And once I kind of got my 2 feet in after going to conference, like that has never changed ever.
One of the things that kind of was like a game changer for me, I heard at one of the many meetings that I've been to, and it said, I don't remember who said it, but they said, don't ever let your why be your why not. And that was like a light bulb, because there were so many times where I was like, well, I don't want to go to this meeting because I want to be home with my kids. But if I wanted to continue to stay home with my kids for the long term, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to go to the wrap party. You're going to have to host the call. My kids are downstairs with my husband. They're watching a movie. I want to watch a movie, but I also want to continue to grow my paycheck. And I also want to continue to be in this business for the long haul. So sometimes you have to make those sacrifices. So if your why is your kid, don't ever let the fact that, sometimes you don't have a babysitter, take them with you. Or sometimes your house isn't clean, you don't want people to come over. Don't let that be the fact that you don't grow this business, and that was a huge eye opener for me. So anytime I have like the little, even the slightest bit of an excuse, be it like, I want to be home with my kids, or I want to do this versus this, like I just automatically get that out of my brain for sure.
And you'll find like this business is so much mindset. I mean, it's great, but it's also your mindset that create that you need to do things that there are times where I could be like, what? Yeah, she's, saying my internet's unstable. Can you see me still? Yeah.
I can see you, but your voice sounds like
frozen. Okay, how about now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. And there were times that you guys, I could have easily been like, my sponsor's not here to help me with this. And now when people are like, well, no one around here does it, I'm like, you're in a gold mine. Like, no, there was no one to help me either. Mm-hmm. The other thing, you will always be scared the first time you're doing something. I don't care if you're the first time doing it and you're a triple diamond. I don't care if it's the first time you're doing it and you're a presidential diamond. That rank does not give you confidence. Okay. So whether it's the first time or not, like, get it out of the way, because it doesn't matter if you're brand new and you're a distributor and you're doing it. Like, I remember doing my first party and I was a double diamond and I was like, I am pitting out. Like, I was just like, okay. I mean, I was sweating. Like, what is happening to me? But I left there and I made rap cash and I sang every single person, and there were 5 people there and I loved it. I was like, I'm doing more of these. Like, there was 5 people. Doesn't have to be 15 like I had thought. And so again, it's mindset, knowing like what you might picture in your head is probably not how it's going to happen, and be okay with that. Like 100% be okay with that. And don't allow yourself a crutch. Like, why do you want to allow yourself something to like hold yourself back? Like, that part of it too, I just don't understand that. So I'm like, when you feel yourself doing that, just tell yourself like, no, like, I'm not doing that. Like, now I'm going to make myself go 2 more of these things that I don't want to do. And when you kind of get into that mindset, you guys, like, the things that you thought that you wouldn't like, you actually end up liking. And they're probably the things that you need to do to take your business to the next step. So, and that was something that I always found. The more, when I would try to do something, I'm like, do I want to say no? I was like, you don't get to say no. Like, you get to say yes to your kids a lot more now. So you need to keep saying yes to more opportunities. And so that, you guys, I show up. Like, it doesn't matter if it's not the person that I sponsored. I showed up to parties with people because I wanted to be there. I wanted the confidence to be there. I wanted the energy to be there. And with doing that, I met a lot of my team and I built a lot of relationships with people that I didn't even sponsor. But in the big scheme of things, you guys, you have to know those people all the way up to ambassador. Like, you have to know those people on your map, because there are going to be people that let their why be their excuse. And instead, I could step in because I had created a relationship with some of these people and say, you know what, that's okay if that's where she wants to stay, but you don't have to stay stuck. Like, let's keep going. And that will be one of the biggest things that you will learn if you do want to take, your business into these huge leadership ranks that you're like, oh my gosh, those seem like such a daunting thing, but really you're going to be there. That's the crazy thing. You're going to figure it out and you'll be there. So,
okay. So that kind of segues into my next thing. So in this business, there's things that I love and there's things that I absolutely hate, but obviously, we got to take the good with the bad. So for you, I know that you love wrap appointments. You hated wrap parties in the beginning. What are some other things that you don't really like, but you know that you have to do because they obviously contribute to your business?
Yes. You know what, you guys, I like following up with, this is going to sound so bad, but like sitting down and actually like following up with my customers to say, hey, this is how you use your product. Like, I wish I could just text everybody. I'm like, why can't we just all be friends? But some people love emails and I'm like, oh my God, why do you want me to email you this? And so that is like the most daunting task to me, because I'm
like following up too, which is so crazy. It's
like once I get that, like, I love following up to hear about their thing, like how their results are and how they feel. But it's like literally sitting down because they want an email that I'm like,
yeah.
It's like palm to my forehead. I'm like, oh my God, why? Like, you want an email? Okay, I'm going to sit down at my computer. And the thing that's hard with that, you guys, is that I am not a sit down person. So the fact that we can build our business straight from our phone, like, that is a godsend to me. Mm-hmm. I never sat down even at work. Like, when we charted, I was not sitting. Like, I was standing, I was on the go, we were running hallways. And so that is super hard for me. But I will say, like, because I actually sit down to do that, my customers get good results and a lot of my customers become distributors. But it is one thing that I have to remind myself to tell, and everybody that joins my team that's new, to say, you have to sit down the day that they sign up or the next day and send them an email and tell them how to log in, how to use their product, and that type of thing. Because not everybody wants to FaceTime with you or text you, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So that is probably one thing that I'm like, oh man, I can't stand that. The other thing is, I do make myself get up early in the morning, because this is my reasoning for this. So I realized quickly that if I hadn't done that, I just got up when my kids got up and that was fun. It's nice to sleep in, that type of thing. But if my day got away from me, I could feel like my anxiety rising, thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't done a whole lot for my business today. And I do this full time. I need to kind of, remember that this is a job and I need to work it like a job. And so I learned, you guys, that getting up 45 minutes early before my kids get up, and getting some stuff done, knowing that if my day gets away from me, I have already done enough for the day. And at nighttime, once they go to bed, I still have whatever I need to get some more work done. So yes, I'm not an early bird because I used to work night shift and that is super hard for me. But the fact that I get up to do it, I am telling you, it decreases my stress so much. And it is probably what I do in the morning is probably the most beneficial to my business every single day. So that's something, yes, I don't want to do that, but I still do it. And like Lisa said, yes, there were times that, I get asked to go to parties and I'm like, I'm not your sponsor and your sponsor's coming. And I'm like, you know what, Sarah? Like, say yes because you can. Like, why are you going? I think to myself, like, selfishly, why am I going to say no? Because I want to stay home and be with my family and she already has help. Yes, but you're asked to be there and you can be there. So say yes. And so I go, and you guys, I never, ever regret it. I never, ever regret when I show up and I get plugged in or I go the extra mile, and it, for whatever reason, like, it always comes back and pays off like times 10. So sometimes, again, it's like your mind, and it almost is like a game, and it's like that stretching you to see, like, are you going to fail this test? Or are you going to pass it? You almost tell yourself, like, okay, that's really awesome. I'm sitting like at the tip of the mountain. Like, which way am I going to go? Am I going to fall? or am I going to go over and go back down? And so I kind of always use those moments where I'm like, if you're thinking of it, like do the right thing. So, but I liked wrap appointments. I didn't like parties. I will do parties like it's my job because I think it's awesome. People make like $200 sitting there. And I remember how much Wrap Cash meant to me. And it's hard for me to be at one-on-one appointments with other people. So I'm like, let me at least come to your party. And you guys, I'll do it a few times with them because I want to help them, you know, get to that root. I think that always seems to help. So.
Okay. I loved parties.
Oh, am I frozen? Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You were just frozen for a second.
When I joined, I partied my butt off, but because financially, we absolutely needed that. Like I needed that extra money. So I knew, okay, I can sign people up online. Yeah, but it's going to take me a month to get that income. Or yes. I can message everybody and ask them to host a party for me and get that money like this. Like I partied my butt off for 6 months straight and I sold so much wraps. It was ridiculous. So that commission check was not even on my radar. I was just like,
mine either.
Party. I loved it. So, but I also know people who enjoy wrap appointments more, like it's more their niche. So I always tell people, whatever's working for you, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Like, why would you ever switch it up if it's working for you?
And if it stops working or what,
then switch it up.
To do, like, be okay switching it up, you know? And I'm with you. Like, I remember my first check and I didn't have a check that like, my first check wasn't like, you know, this super low amount, but at the same time, my Wrap Cash was double what my check was, a double. And I had already had that before my first commission check even came. So again, like I always say, do you get your first check in 6 to 7 weeks, or do you want to make your first profit in 6 days? I can tell you, if you are out there and you're hungry to get that profit is going to like catapult you into literally like, I mean, just doubling. You're going to take more action because you're excited, and it's going to double whatever commission check could have came to you had you not gone and started making Wrap Cash. Or don't be afraid of opportunity. Like I feel like some people back away from it, and I'm like, that was your perfect opportunity to say, hey, do you want to wrap for free? If you have 4 friends that want to try this product out with you, I'll come wrap you for free. I don't even say it's a party. But you guys, I wanted to create opportunity for myself and to get in front of as many people as I possibly could, because you have no idea if you offer somebody a business, if even though you don't know that person, yeah, your friend might not like it, but their friend might, and you have no idea about that. So if you aren't out there asking, like your answer is always going to be no. So you need to ask yourself, like, am I going to try to create opportunity, and do I want to hear yes? If you do, then go the extra mile. Then ask those questions. If you want it to be a no and you just want to sit, then, I mean, you decide that for yourself at the same time.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, last question. So what would be your best tips to get someone, like a brand new person, knows nothing, that's scared? What would be your best tip to get them up and running?
Okay, my best tip is this. You need to do your training videos in your eSuite, and you need to do your auto ship, because you have to have products on hand to be able to market yourself and to be able to offer. So those are the first 2 things that I did right off the bat, you guys, and I swear they helped me get my first wins. And when you get those first wins, then you know you're capable of the second wins. You know you're capable of the third wins. And that's executive. That's getting that first paycheck and going for Ruby. $500 is a game changer. Like that is huge for anybody. So that, and I would say figure out the things that are scaring you, write them down and be like, why? Why does that scare me? Okay, and now that you know that it's there, just to make the move. Just tell yourself, am I going to go past that, or am I going to, does this mean so much to me that I am going to not like go beyond this one fear? And so I think that's kind of what I did for myself. And I would say the other tip that I have is plant your feet. Like, know that you are here for a year, and print out your steps to success and say, I'm going to do this every single month. And this is what I'm going to commit to every single month for a year. And I want to be on a Zoom with you in a year, and I want to see where you're at, because those steps to success allowed me to make an extra $6,000 a month in a year. And only because I did that. You guys, yes, there were maybe some months I was doing more, but then there was also some months maybe I fell a little short. So when I went to like even a lot of my numbers out, or if I like divided them up and averaged them, I'm doing steps to success. Like I am not a mass recruiter. Lisa knows I like to do coffee dates. Like I like to spend time with people. I mean, my God, I want to FaceTime my loyal customers. So obviously that's just kind of how I am. But just know those things, and you have to ask questions. You have to ask. As a sponsor, I always look back and I'm like, Danielle never had to ask me, how are you doing? Like, what's your next? No one ever had to ask me that. Like she could see what I was doing. You know, she could see I was asking questions because I wanted to know, like, okay, how do I get my fast start bonuses? What's placing? Like, what does an executive map look like? What does 400 mean? Like I was asking those questions because I was tuned in. So have your visuals. If you do your training, you will have your visuals printed out. You have to see something in front of you. I could have never done this business if I didn't have my maps and my steps to success printed out, because I wouldn't have known where I was going at all. So that, have your auto ship set up, be committed to wrapping people, be committed. So you might have some people that say no. Anybody that asked me about the wrap that was in my area, even if it was like 45-minute driving distance, I didn't really care. I just said, let me wrap you and you can try one out. It's $25. That's what I said. And from there, when I met up with them, I just said, hey, you can get the full treatment of 4 for $59, or you could spend an extra $40 and get some wraps and make some extra money. What do you want to do? That's all I said. So that would be my tip, is really honestly keeping it simple, staying plugged in, ask your questions, and have your goal in front of you.
Great tips. I feel like I couldn't agree more with every single thing that you said. Plugging in, especially for me, I would not, yes. It's like, if you're not close to that fire, your fire is going to burn out. And I know that with me. I know that the way that I work, the way that I think, I need that constant fire. So whether it's a Zoom, whether it's, the meeting that we had at your house the other day, like it's, even when we went to Starbucks, just me and you, like anything like that, just keeps my fire lit. And I know that when my fire's lit, I can get stuff done. So
yeah. And when you're close to the fire, it's like, yes, there's always going to be like that annoying noise out here. So whether it's opinions or people thinking they have the next best thing or whatever it is. But honestly, when you're so close and you are so like laser focused, you guys, that noise, like it just gets muted. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes that noise can be created from some of your closest people. And so
that was the case for me too. Some of my closest friends who I thought were going to be like my biggest supporters ended up being.
And we all had that, but at the same time, like that didn't stop you. It still isn't stopping you. And it didn't stop me. And I didn't let people see that. And the funny thing is once people know you're going to do it with or without them, they get to make the decision like, do I want to go with Lisa, or am I going to sit back here and just keep watching her do her thing? And I just say, if they're going to sit back and keep watching you, they're missing a few cells. I'm like, that is fine. And if you don't have that vision for yourself, like, then you can stay there until you're ready, and I'm okay with that. You guys, I think I used to take it personally in the beginning. I'm like, God, why don't they want, or do they think this is dumb? And honestly, I just, I just figured it out that some of those people that do that, or that you really, really want, they would put such a damper on your business, and that's why they're not there. And that's okay. And they probably are people that you don't even need on your team. So be okay with that.
My thing is, okay, if you are such a negative person in general, like chances are you'd probably do my team more harm than good. So it's okay.
Yes. And you guys, notice those people. Like at the same time, notice like if you have somebody that's kind of pushing fear into you, like that's not somebody that you want. They're not going to be the same person that's going to tell you, keep going. Yes, it's hard. Keep going, or overcome this, or dream bigger, or they're not going to be those same people. So you just kind of have to know, like, that's just not somebody that I'll go to when I'm pushing for my goals, or I'm dreaming bigger, or I'm putting this like massive, what most people would think unreachable thing out there. And I'm like head down going for it. Like you need to be by those people that are brave enough to go for their own. So
I couldn't agree. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I know it's like going to be 11 o'clock at night.
Hey, that's okay.
Where you're at.
Yes. No, that's okay.
Conversations take place around midnight anyway, so.
No, and I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, yeah, I probably still have like another hour and a half that I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. So I will see you soon. Hopefully you'll get to meet a lot of the people on this call at the one.
Yes, I hope to.
I'm excited. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye, you guys.
Bye.